That was a Wright brothers moment. For the RCBX, that was the first time that a marine vessel had been operated on algae-based biofuel. It had never been done before. When I was in the RCBX for that Wright brothers moment, I was in the jump seat right in the middle. It actually performed exceedingly well. No degradation to combat capability. The formal title, as we call it in the Navy, is RCBX. What that means is an Experimental Riverine Command Vessel. We were able to use the experimental biofuel that we're developing to see whether or not it will operate properly on biofuels. Algae is very clearly one that we have an interest in. We actually run on a 50-50 blend, 50% petroleum, 50% biofuel. We did not re-engineer the engine. What we've done is we've engineered the fuel. And in fact, actually, it's an increase to our strategic capability because we have a different fuel other than petroleum, which could become important if the fuel is not there. That's one of the reasons why I was in that first test of the RCBX, is to show that I wasn't afraid to go out to sea on it.
Well, we're in a small community called Burroughsville, Virginia. These are long ponds they call raceways. These tanks on the side here are part of the strategy because we use them to seed the main raceways. And we have a system on the other side over here that actually does that harvesting for us. We dump the algae in here and just let it air dry for a little while. This is what it looks like when it starts to dry. Then by heating that algae in the presence of our catalyst, we convert those fats to the biodiesel, which then comes out as a gas, and we just condense it. And we have a tap, and out comes your fuel.
We just take a little bit of this algae and put it into our growth environment.
Eventually you end up with this lovely green bubbling mixture which has the oil in it, latent in the chemical structure of the algae.
We will filter it through this system where we put filter paper into here and pour it down. And once we get the dried algae, we can then extract the lipids, the hydrocarbons, all the aspects of it that we need to make biofuel. What's good about this algae is that when it's stressed, it produces more oil. So it's kind of like a teenager on prom night, you know? It's freaking out, it breaks out, and then we get more oil out of it.
You can grow a lot more of it in smaller space using less arable land, which people need for crops, community, that kind of thing.
We're taking the carbon dioxide that's in the atmosphere and converting it to the fuel,
which then makes it a lot more attractive from a carbon and a greenhouse gas standpoint for a lot of different applications, not just the military.
And really, algae is really the only crop that has the potential to significantly provide fuels for our transportation needs in this country.
The U.S. military consumes 2% roughly of the petroleum that's used in this country. We're the largest single user. And by 2020, the Secretary of the Navy has set a very challenging goal where 50% of all of our energy used will be by alternative means, something other than petroleum. We're moving that direction, and nothing is going to stop us towards that.
My grandchildren and my children, you know, I want to see them not have to be dependent upon fossil fuels from areas of the world that are not stable.
This strategy is about saving lives. We've had since 9/11 soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who have died because energy was a vulnerability, not because it was a strength.